It was a night I will never forget. The queen, our queen, lay in the sand, her face bruised and bloodied, staring up at the stars as if they had betrayed her too. We had no water, no food, and only the moon to guide us. The desert stretched out for miles, and behind us, our kingdom had fallen into the hands of a traitor. But I am getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the beginning. Our queen, Queen Zara, was loved by everyone in the kingdom of Kambara. She ruled with a steady hand and a kind heart. The people admired her beauty, yes, but it was her wisdom that they trusted most. Her eyes held the desert's secrets, and her voice had the calm of an oasis in a storm. I served her faithfully as her guard, and I had never seen anyone so strong. But power, they say, brings enemies, and the queen's most trusted general, a man named Rafik, was one of them. He had fought by her side for years, protecting the kingdom from outside threats. No one suspected him of treachery, least of all the queen. But Rafik had grown hungry for power, for more than just a soldier's life. He wanted the throne, and he was willing to do anything to get it. The night of the betrayal came quietly, like a snake sliding through the sand. It was supposed to be a peaceful evening. Queen Zara was preparing to make a speech to the people, a celebration of the kingdom's many victories and a plan for the future. Rafik stood at her side, as he always did, his face calm and unreadable. No one noticed anything wrong. Until the gates were opened, soldiers, not from our own ranks, stormed into the palace. Chaos followed. The sound of swords clashing filled the air. People screaming, running. Rafik's men, the traitors, seized control of the guards. The queen tried to fight, but it was too late. Her own army had turned against her. In the confusion, I grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the secret exit beneath the palace. We had to leave everything behind. Everything. We fled into the desert that night, with only the clothes on our backs and a few provisions. The queen was quiet, too quiet. I could see the hurt in her eyes. The shock of betrayal. She had trusted Rafik like a brother, and he had shattered that trust in one cruel stroke. The first days in the desert were hard. The sun was unforgiving, burning our skin, and the cold nights beat at our bones. We had no direction, just moving forward, hoping to find safety. But it wasn't the heat or the thirst that weighed on Queen Zara's mind, it was the weight of what had happened. She had lost her throne, her people, everything she had worked so hard to protect. Why? She would ask, her voice hoarse from the heat and dry wind. How could he do this? I had no answers for her. The desert didn't offer explanations. But as we wandered, something began to change in her. She stopped asking why and started thinking about how. How would she survive? How would she rebuild? The ancestors, she said, were speaking to her in her dreams, guiding her. The desert, once a place of exile, became her teacher. Each day, she grew stronger, not just in body, but in spirit. I remember one night in particular, we had found a small cave for shelter, and the queen sat by the fire, staring into the flames. She told me about the stories her mother used to tell her, the stories of the queens who came before her, warriors who had fought for their kingdoms, for their people. These queens had faced betrayal too, but they never gave up. They always found a way to rise. It's in my blood, she said. I am not just a queen, I am a warrior. And she was right. Slowly, Queen Zara began to gather her strength, her mind sharp as ever. She used the stars to guide us, and we moved through the desert with purpose. Along the way, we found others, soldiers who had been loyal to her, villagers who had escaped the chaos. They had heard of her survival, and they joined us, one by one, until we had a small group, a new beginning. It wasn't easy. We fought off bandits, faced harsh sandstorms, and at times it seemed like the desert would swallow us whole. But the queen, or our queen, never faltered. She led us with a quiet strength, reminding us of who we were fighting for, the people, the kingdom. Word spread. Rafik, now sitting on the throne, heard rumors of Queen Zara's survival, but he didn't take them seriously. He thought the desert would kill her, that she would fade away like a forgotten whisper in the wind. He was wrong. After months of wandering, we finally reached the border of Kambara. The queen, now dressed in the simple robes of a traveler, stood tall, her face hardened by the desert sun, her body lean and strong from the journey. She was no longer the queen who had sat on the throne in silks and jewels. She had become something more, a symbol of resilience, of strength. We launched a quiet attack, gathering more supporters as we moved closer to the capital. Rafik's men were unprepared. They had grown complacent, thinking the queen was dead. But when they saw her, standing tall and fierce at the head of her army, their confidence shattered. The battle for the throne wasn't long. Rafik, for all his ambition, was no match for the queen's determination. She confronted him in the palace, the place where he had betrayed her. I remember the look in his eyes, fear, regret. He knew he had lost long before she raised her sword. With one swift strike, it was over. Queen Zara took back her throne, not as the ruler she once was, but as a warrior who had faced the hardest of trials and emerged stronger. The people welcomed her return with open arms, and the kingdom began to heal. And I, who had watched it all unfold, knew that I had witnessed something truly remarkable. This was not just the story of a queen betrayed, it was the story of a queen reborn, a story of strength, survival, and the unbreakable will of a woman who refused to be defeated. The desert may have taken much from her, but it had also given her something greater, herself.